What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WWE Fight Pit here on the House Call Sports channel. My name is Sam, that is Caleb, and today we will be talking about the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, how Backlash might have had the best crowd we've ever seen, the injuries that continue to plague WWE, and more. First, though, a word from Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is the most trustworthy and easy to navigate ticketing website. They have a reliable and rewarding tickets and a 100% buyer guarantee, which means your transaction will be safe and secure. You will get full service customer care and be compensated for any canceled events. And it's got the only ticket rewards program around, which means all the WWE events you want to go to Vivid Seats, hit the link in our description, and go sit vividly now. What a pay-per-view Backlash was. I'm sure all of you are very aware how electrifying the crowd was, how electrifying the pay-per-view, or the PLE rather, really was. One of the best PLE crowds, and probably one of the best crowds, period, in professional wrestling history. Caleb, I'll go ahead and ask you straight away, was this the greatest professional wrestling crowd ever?
It's really a toss-up between this and the Backlash crowd from last year in Puerto Rico. Both crowds brought it. They made the matches better, in my opinion. Not that the matches were bad per se, but it's just like they helped tell the story, especially with that Bad Bunny match last year. They made him the star. This year, they made every single person the star.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely. And that I think was the best part of it, is that everybody felt important on SmackDown, on Backlash. Everybody felt really important, whether they would boo, whether they would cheer. The most impressive performance from the crowd was just the sudden cheering of AJ Styles that I don't think anybody really expected. AJ Styles in a promo simply says the word phenomenal, and they break out into a song that completely overshadows the promo work that any of them are trying to do, which I am not mad at all. And it was just a great scene overall in Backlash. I do think it's the best the best crowd ever. Like I don't really think it's close. The only one I can really compare it to was the ECW One Night Stand crowd back in 2006.
Oh.
That is really the only crowd that really compares. But man, in terms of atmosphere, they were singing Kingdom to Cody Rhodes, word for word, bar for bar. Like
that was unbelievable.
It was really one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen. And it shouldn't be understated. WWE needs to go back to France. I mean, if we're going to be getting atmospheres like that, if we're going to be getting reactions like that. Another thing that I want to they sung Randy Orton's theme song. Randy Orton's theme song is a banger, okay, but it's a very eerie song. Certainly not a song that you really sing to, but damn it, they did. And they sung it like I said, word for word, bar for bar. This crowd was absolutely amazing, Caleb.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Also, they should probably take a hint. I know they don't want to do it. Maybe make WrestleMania go international. You'll get them more income.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely more often. I mean, every B-level show needs to go international, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hold every Big Four in America, every B-level show, if you want to increase if you want to make every B-level show must watch and a big deal, you take it to wherever they're going. Like they're going to Bash at Berlin, they're going to Clash at the Castle, they were at Perth, Australia for the Elimination Chamber. That atmosphere was awesome. Look, if you're gonna have these snoozy, annoying crowds in America do the Big Four pay-per-views, that's completely fine by me. You won't get any complaints. But damn it, you should go international for every other PLE, because that was an experience. That was an experience to watch.
One thing I do want to add to that too is, say they do all the B-level shows in other countries. Let's say they do the Big Four in America. Do you think that's going to make people more interested in the product because they're going to not have as many pay-per-views to go to? So that's going to make the American crowds more rowdy? Because I can see that happening.
I think it's been happening, right? Like I would hope that like Americans are looking at what's going on, what went on in France, and are starting to up their game. I thought the Raw crowd, it was a good crowd. It wasn't a terrible crowd by any means, but if we're comparing it to
typical though,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if we're comparing it to France, I mean, it washes it, and it's very, very. You would expect this kind of crowd in like Toronto, in Montreal, maybe Chicago or Philly. Philly and Chicago do not hold a candle to what Lyon, France brought to the table. So to end it very briefly, the greatest crowd of all time, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my opinion. And you know, I guess the only thing I will complain about that PLE, I thought the debut of Tongaloa was it was a good debut. I just wanted Jacob Fatu. That's really the only complaint I have, Caleb.
I mean, I can see why you think that too, but at the same time, you got to realize. I mean, that's a no attack or whatever. You got to realize too, Tama Tonga was never really a singles wrestler, and Tonga Loa, he competed with him for years in New Japan, so bringing that familiarity with him into WWE will help. Also, Tonga Loa was in WWE before too.
Yeah, he was. He was as a, I think it was as Camacho, right? It was a,
Hanako's tag team partner, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was. It was not. It was definitely an odd pairing, those two. So I'm glad. I mean, Camacho is gonna get another opportunity to really get some run in what I believe is the dawn of a new era in the bloodline, of a more vicious physical bloodline. Definitely an oralist bloodline because there's no Roman Reigns and the Usos, but I definitely think this is a good gateway to get having those two brothers in there with Solo Sikoa. Already plants the seeds for Jimmy and Jay and Roman Reigns to team back up together as baby faces. So I'm very excited for that. Next up, we have King of the Ring, and King of the Ring is a King of the Ring is a PLE that I did not think WWE would go back to for a long time. I will say this: the prestige of the King of the Ring has certainly lost. It was certainly lost the prestige throughout the years. King Corbin was not very good. King Woods, it did not elevate. King Barrett did not elevate. I mean, the King gimmick just did not elevate anybody. So
I think a big problem with that too, it was people that did not need to win that too. People like Woods, who was already not really established as a single star, but established as a trustworthy star, people they could rely on. And then also Baron Corbin was not exactly the most popular face amongst that crowd at the time when he won it either.
Yeah, and he wasn't really a popular heel either. Like he was not a heel that people wanted to get behind. No one liked him like that, and no one liked him because of him. Like that, it wasn't because of the stuff he was doing. He was just annoying. He was not a heel that anybody really. It was not really heel heat. It was go away heat, and that's the kind of heat that you don't want. So, with that being said, I have the men's bracket right in front of me. A side of that bracket has almost been accomplished. We saw Sheamus versus Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, Ricochet. Banger of a match that was. I don't know if you tuned into that, Caleb, but Uso versus
I got to see that. That was epic.
That was a good match as well. So the King of the Ring is already off to a good start. It's a very unfortunate that we won't get to see Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. I really wanted to see that matchup on live television, but at the same time,
I wonder why they're doing that though.
I think I'll say why. I think they really want to make live events matter. So having a match that's really unpredictable at a live event, it really goes to show that they're trying to get live events. Like they're trying to get you to go to see these live events. You know what I mean? So I'm still a little disappointed for sure. I definitely wish that I definitely wish we got to see that matchup. But then we had the SmackDown side. The SmackDown side is definitely not as stacked, but I definitely like the competitors in here. Caleb, I know you share very different opinions. I'll go ahead and name the matchups real quick. We got AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. We got Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. We got LA Knight versus Santos Escobar. And then we have Bobby Lashley versus Tama Tonga. Definitely a weaker match. Definitely a weaker slick like match and like match wise, like, you know, hoops wise, some might say, compared to the other side. But I definitely like the star power that they're including with this King of the Ring. I like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, and also some new faces. Carmelo Hayes, Tama Tonga, Santos Escobar. I really like that. So I guess my question to you, who do you see standing tall on Raw side, and who do you see standing tall on SmackDown side?
Raw side is a lot more obvious, dare I say, with Gunther, the way he's being built as the winner. I mean, it seems fairly obvious they want to go with him. But on the SmackDown side, oof. You got Carmelo Hayes, and that's LA Knight, maybe? Like, neither hold a candle to Gunther, though. That's my only gripe with that. Like,
they're definitely building Gunther to be the guy to be King of the Ring. But I'll say this, man. I think SmackDown side is definitely more unpredictable, which I think is really good. And I wouldn't count out Jey Uso. The way they've been building Jey Uso as the number one overall pick, as this, as this superstar. Don't be surprised if Jey Uso ends up in that final, man. I think Jey Uso has a very solid shot.
I will just say, too, going off your point of him being the number one pick, if he does lose in the second round of Dragunov, you know how much that's going to devalue his pick? Not that it really, matters in the grand scheme of things, but them just making a big deal out of him being picked number one just to lose a title match to Damian Priest and now lose in the second round of King of the Ring. It's going to devalue his stock.
I don't like the matchup either. I will say. I think it's setting up. I think you really want to build up Ilya Dragunov. You want Ilya versus Gunther. Look, I'll put it to you like that. You want Ilya versus Gunther.
He should just been on SmackDown though.
Yeah, but I mean, man. Here's my thing. And I'll say this. What they're doing in SmackDown is more unpredictable. I think in Raw, they're basing it off of like what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word like match work rate. There you go. That's what I was looking for. They're looking at Raw as the work rate bracket, and SmackDown as the well, it's a bunch of matchups here, a bunch of stars. You don't know who's gonna win. The matches are gonna be good. They're not gonna be trash. Okay, we all know. Look, there's some very capable competitors in this side. I mean, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Corbin. And I think LA Knight has improved so much in the ring. Santos Escobar, and of course Carmelo Hayes. There's some ballers in this tournament in the SmackDown side. My thing, my thing inherently is that it's very unpredictable. So you can go ahead, Caleb.
I was gonna say the only two matchups I really despise. That's kind of a strong word. The only two matchups I don't like in the SmackDown side is Corbin versus Hayes, number one. Just because you have the re-debut of Baron Corbin. If he loses in the first round like that, it may or may not hurt his potential rest of his career on the main roster. And then Carmelo Hayes, you can't have him lose either because he's new. And then you have Lashley and Tama Tonga. That's my biggest thing. You have Tama Tonga debut in WWE as not a monster per se, but more of like a scary threat. And you want to make the new bloodline look strong. And only to have him lose to Bobby Lashley like that devalues that whole new bloodline. You want to see them be strong, but at the same time, Lashley.
I agree. Actually, definitely Tonga and Lashley. Tonga and Lashley is definitely not a good matchup. I can't
see him looking good in that match.
Right. I don't see, and I think that helps with the unpredictability. It does, but in terms of like booking wise, like Tama Tonga, do you really want him losing his like singles debut against Bobby Lashley? I mean, there's no shame losing to Bobby Lashley, of course. And if the only way I think they're going to be able to make this work is shenanigans. And I don't think we really want shenanigans again for this new bloodline either. Like, are we really going to base this bloodline off of shenanigans as well? Like the entire bloodline era with Roman Reigns, it was just run-in after run-in after run-in. Are we going to make this the exact same way? I know that's how like the family works, but like, I don't know. I want my, if you want to look like a dominating presence, I would rather you beat the guy clean. So that's why with Tama Tonga, if you're going to make him a credible threat, having him cheat to win against Bobby Lashley, it makes sense. It just cheapens the bloodline, in my opinion. So,
I agree.
Wow. Hello. So that's my thing. Now, my picks to win the, I don't know if you made your pick for the SmackDown side. I agree with Gunther. I think Gunther's going to come out of the Raw side. I think not having him at the final would just be ludicrous. And for King of the Ring, for the SmackDown side, I think they're going to go, and this is going to be a very, very spicy one. I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with me. I think that they're going to go with Randy Orton here. I think Randy Orton's going to be in that final for King of the Ring. And they're going to put Gunther over against Randy Orton. I think that matchup right there will definitely 1000% put butts in seats in Saudi Arabia. And that's a money match for sure. It's the match that makes sense. Now, my only problem with this is that Randy Orton's going to really run through some of the best talents, like AJ Styles. I feel like him losing, that loses a lot of momentum. Same with Carmelo Hayes. It sucks, but I think Randy Orton, there's no shame in Randy Orton beating you. There isn't. And I think Randy Orton can still go at this stage. So I have Gunther and Randy Orton coming out, and I have Gunther winning. I have Gunther winning that match. What do you think, Caleb?
I mean, yeah, no, I was gonna try to think of a way to say Randy could win, but no, Gunther needs that win. They can't put Randy over.
Yeah, I mean, I want to picture. I mean, Randy Orton winning would just be fire, man. It really would. But I just think that Gunther right now is so hot right now, like in the WWE, that it would just be foolish for them to really just kill the momentum for Randy Orton. Now, if they go AJ Styles, or anybody younger, that makes it a bit more predictable, I will say. Like, I think AJ Styles, or maybe a Carmelo Hayes, or maybe an LA Knight, like, how much more are you going to hold those guys back? You know what I mean? Like, how much longer would be my question. But we're going to have to see. Let's go to the Queen of the Ring tournament, shall we? And let me tell you, man, this is a very interesting bracket on the Raw side. We saw most of the matchups. We're to see the SmackDown side. I would imagine we get that tomorrow. When we're recording this, it's going to be Wednesday if you don't know. But the matchups they have, and this is going to kind of tie in with my problem with the Raw Women's division. It really, really lacks star power. It really does. And I'll go through the matches right now. You had Io Sky versus Natalya. You got Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. You had Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile. And then you had Shayna versus Zelina Vega. That's gonna be taking place at a live event. Again, don't know why they're doing that, but they're doing it. Yeah, I'll just go into the Raw thing. There's a severe superstar problem in the Raw side. There's a star power problem. Because Becky Lynch, while she is a star as the man, and she puts butts in seats and all, I feel like the crowd is kind of starting to not care about her. And you could kind of see that in the segment during Raw. And she was kind of lulling people to sleep. They were talking about her at the Kentucky Derby. And it was, in my opinion, it was a bland promo. Like I wasn't really interested in what Becky had to say. Now Liv Morgan interrupts. And Liv Morgan comes in. And Liv Morgan is saying what everybody's thinking. Blah, 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 blah. Like you're just talking. You're just yapping. Only problem is Liv Morgan is so robotic and uncharismatic and unconvincing on the mic. I don't really believe what Liv Morgan is saying. Now, what did we get out of this? Would be a match in Saudi Arabia at King and Queen of the Ring. We're going to get a championship match between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. That's cool. I would expect Liv Morgan to go over. I would assume. Becky Lynch seems like the transitional champion, and having Becky win against Liv Morgan again would just completely stall her momentum. I don't think WWE wants to do that. But essentially, I don't believe in the Liv Morgan character. I just don't. I just think she's so uncharismatic on the mic. She's not really convincing. She's good in the ring, which is cool, but she doesn't have the star power, in my opinion, to be the woman in Monday Night Raw. I feel like Rhea Ripley was really gonna help her elevate to that star power, but having it happen now, it's just not hitting for me.
I'm gonna have a bit of a hot take here, and I kind of do want to see, let's say, if Becky Lynch does win, and Rhea Ripley is out for as long as they say she's going to be out for. What if they put Liv Morgan in the Wyatt Six faction? Honestly, I would not be opposed to that. Give her a new rehaul, give her a new character to work with, have other people that could talk for her if they have to. Because she could play that dark, sinister character.
I mean, I think that character's playing more to her heel side. She's turning heel. She's the bad guy here. Like if you saw the segment, she ran away from Damage Control saying it's not my problem. Very Drew McIntyre-esque. But the thing is, Liv Morgan just doesn't convince me. Like, I'm not convinced.
That's what I was going to say. They're trying to make her like Drew McIntyre because you see what Drew McIntyre is doing and making it work. What he's doing is incredible. It's so funny. Right. He makes you captivated, but Liv Morgan does not have the charisma that he does. Not even half of it.
Not half of it. You're right. Yeah. Absolutely. But the thing is, the Wyatt Six, I don't think is going to change that either. Like, I don't think Liv Morgan in the Wyatt Six makes any sense, especially given the way her character is. It's a very colorful character. I know she's wearing more black to say, oh, I'm a bad guy now. I'm not convinced. Your Titantron is very, very colorful. Your fans are very, very colorful. Like, everything about her is very colorful. So I'm just like not convinced that she can be in a very dark faction. Like Alexa Bliss, her getting into the Wyatt Six faction, I had no idea she had that in her. And credit to Alexa Bliss, but granted, we want her away from that. Like, we don't let.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're very captivated by the Wyatt Six. I'm a little bit less captivated. I thought Alexa Bliss did a good job in that role, but I want to see Alexa Bliss back to being that, the glitter girl, the
spoiled
woman,
brat,
the school bully. Yeah, the mean girl. I love that version of Alexa Bliss. I think that's her version. Liv Morgan, I think a heel version will definitely make her more interesting. She's kind of showing it here. I just don't think that segment in particular really, really helped. Like, it really didn't. Honestly, it's more of a me thing. I just think the state of the Raw Women's Division is kind of, without Mommy, it's kind of auraless. Like, it's just nobody really captivating, nobody really interesting. I think when Charlotte Flair comes back, she needs to go to Raw, because I think that side of the women's division needs star power. Whereas SmackDown, you got Bayley, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax. Like, you got some stars over there. Whereas
Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill,
and Bianca Belair, I didn't even mention Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Like, and Chelsea Green. Remember, Chelsea Green is on. Like, there's so that side of the women's bracket is so stacked compared to Raw, where you just have a bunch of uncharismatic women who are very, very good in the ring, might I add. Like Lyra Valkyria, she can convince me in a babyface promo, but her thing is in ring. Dakota Kai is, in my opinion, the only woman on that roster that's a heel that I'm convinced that she is world championship material. And that's
just built her up in a way where she's just a professional loser at this point.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. Like losing to Lyra Valkyria. I know what they're trying to do with Lyra Valkyria. Okay, I know it. But Dakota Kai just has it, man. She has the mic skills. She has the in-ring work. It just works. She should have been the mouthpiece of Damage Control all along, because
I think they're Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, this might be a reach, but it might be because they're scared of her injury history, because she does have a history with being injured a lot with her knee, with her arm. So maybe they're worried if they put the strap on her or put her in a big spot, she's not going to make it through the whole program.
I mean, I would hope that's not the case. I think that you give her a shot, because she clearly has more charisma than any of the women there. Okay, the only, like, Io Sky, damn good in the ring, can't go on the mic, but that's kind of a language barrier thing. Same with Kairi Sane. Same with Asuka. It's interesting, I think the star power in the women's division is it's more on SmackDown than it is on Raw. And it's not because Raw has bad, and it's not because Raw doesn't have good good work rate characters, because they have Io Sky, they have Kairi Sane, they have Zoe Stark, who's incredible in the ring. You have a bunch of in-ring like masters in there. Their only problem is they don't really have good characters. Bailey, character. Naomi, character. Tiffany Stratton, character. Nia Jax, character. Chelsea Green, her entire thing is character. Bianca, Jade, like you have a bunch of characters over here, then you have a bunch of women over here who just don't have any. So that's my 2 cents. I think the Raw women's division needs a severe overhaul. I think you need to make it. I think you need to make it happen. Charlotte needs to go to Raw immediately. It's not working for me on that Raw side. It just isn't.
Looks like you lost another one.
Now onto the another storyline that I think has been unbelievable. The injuries that have been going on in WWE.
So talking about injuries right now, one of the big ones that I want to talk about would be CM Punk, because ever since Royal Rumble, it's not that he's been directionless, it's just that lead up to WrestleMania, it left Seth Rollins in a void where he had to try to figure out a program to work with, and that happened to be Drew McIntyre. And thank God that did work out, but just the hype for seeing CM Punk versus Seth Rollins was so big leading to that event that once Punk got injured, it just derailed all of that momentum that people were building up.
Right, and that's one of the things where Triple H really masters that, is completely taking a different road. He did a good job on the road to WrestleMania with all the injuries. I mean, with CM Punk going down, that was brutal. I mean, that was very brutal, because CM Punk was going to main event WrestleMania. Let's not make this. Let's not get it twisted. He was going to main event WrestleMania night 1 against Seth Rollins. Another thing was Seth Rollins getting injured. I mean, no one expected that either. Seth Rollins got hurt, and what ended up happening was you had to basically create a program where 2 of your wrestlers are hurt and one of them is healthy, and they're all kind of just good thing they're all good on the mic, because it would not have ended up working out if they weren't. So like straight up, I'll put it to you like this. If CM Punk didn't get hurt though, what exactly would the road have been? Like, are we getting just a simple promo battle? Are we getting a triple threat with Drew McIntyre in there? I think that, in my opinion, would have been the go. Based on the way these guys are trading barbs, it just kind of was meant to be. Also, the injuries kind of helped the situation, ironically. Now, some of the injuries are unfortunate after WrestleMania. I mean, the injury to Seth Rollins, he's going to be out for months. Asuka is going to be out. Drew McIntyre got hurt. CM Punk is still out of action. Dominic Mysterio out of action. Rhea Ripley out of action. So many injuries right now. And it's kind of blows my mind that WWE is still this hot with all the injuries that are going on. But they've managed to make it work. Now, the only way they were able to manage to make it work was because all of their mouths work. Pause. And the fact that their mouths work so well, pause, it just ends up making magic. So CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio can stay on TV because he's so damn entertaining. I just think that they're making it work because of the way they talk. But eventually you need the matches to happen. And you can't book your way out of an injury like Rhea Ripley. You can't book your way out of Dominic Mysterio getting hurt. You can't. Eventually you cannot book your way out of Seth Rollins needing to get some rest. That's reality. So
it was unfortunate seeing Dominic Mysterio get hurt too, because with Rhea Ripley, he really had an opportunity to show what he could do without being not really in the shadow of Rhea Ripley, but that's the potential of what he could have been, like as a slimy greaseball heel that cheats to win rather than relying on other people. Cheating in different ways, kind of like Eddie Guerrero used to do it. Right.
Absolutely. So that's another reason, like potential, that we could have seen Dominic Mysterio go out there and not dominate. Dominic Mysterio doesn't dominate. He could have really showed out, real like in the ring as his own character without Rhea Ripley. And granted, his character worked without Rhea Ripley before, but it was kind of heavily reliant on Rhea Ripley down the road. So I just think that these injuries, they suck. They really do suck. But WWE is really finding a way to pivot and making sure they're getting the best product out there. Now, granted, I still think that, there are some flaws. Like I mentioned, the Raw Women's Division having no aura because Rhea Ripley's not there. They're lacking on that department. I think it sucks that we're not seeing CM Punk and Drew McIntyre eventually in a pay-per-view. That sucks. Especially not fighting for the world title. That sucks as well. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see what happens down the line. I'm excited though. I think that these injuries also create other opportunities for other young stars. Damian Priest is a big one. I don't know if Damian Priest was gonna be CM Punk returning was we all need to remember was completely out of nowhere, right? So Damian Priest's goals to win goals to be champion were kind of squandered right there. But CM Punk's injury brought those chances back to life, and then we eventually got a WrestleMania moment in WrestleMania 40. So, while these injuries are definitely unfortunate, they made it work. They made it work, and that I think is the most important thing. Now, unfortunately, Asuka's out, so I think a part of Damage Control is going to be missing for a while. Hope she's okay. We're gonna see, man. Hopefully, down the line, the roster gets fully healthy. And we get consistent good television like we've been getting recently.
I agree.
That's going to do it for us here on the WWE Fight Pit. We hope you enjoyed. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. With that being said, thank you for joining us. Peace. We'll see you next time.
Looks like you lost another one.